Okay, since there doesn't seem to be a good video on YouTube about this, this is how to replace a tensioner for a 1999 Pontiac Firebird. This is a 3.8 liter V6. So my problem is the belt's not lined up. So since the belt's not lined up, it tends to fall apart. My problem, I'm guessing, is this tensioner. Either way, I'm going to replace it and try and explain. So first thing you're going to do is disconnect the negative battery cable, because you're going to need to take off the alternator because that's mounted right above the bracket. Okay, negative battery cable disconnected. Now all we have to do is take off this belt and then start removing bolts to take off the alternator. Okay, so to take off the alternator, there's a bolt on the right that goes right there. That is a 10 millimeter on my car. There's one down there that was a 13 millimeter, and also the negative cable connected here, which was a 13 millimeter, and the positive connected there, which was a 13 millimeter. And then I just unplugged this, and it should come right off. Okay, so before we get to take off the tensioner, we need to drain the coolant level, because those are engine coolant. If you take this off, it'll drain all down your engine, and that'll be messy. But since I seem to be running low already on coolant, I think I'll just stick a pan under the car and open it up anyway. Okay, so what I've done is I've disconnected these two hoses. All you do is twist it and pull it off. Luckily, nothing spilled out, and now what it looks like I'm going to have to do is take off the bolt down there, and drop my phone under the car, and get my phone from under the car, then stop recording because I already look stupid. Alright, so I've taken off the bolts for the tensioner. This one right here came off just fine with a 15 millimeter, and this one right here came off just fine with a 15 millimeter and an extender. And in theory, it should come off just fine. I did say in theory, not in practice. I got it off, and there's all that coolant I was talking about. See the big mess? That's why I put the pan there. And also, this thing broke. So, that was one of the elbows that came with it. Luckily, it came with new ones. So I'll just try and get that out of there. So just to clarify, this is the elbow that broke, and I'm going to try and get that out of there with a thingamajig. And I'll tell you how. So thingamajig worked. Now onward to the next. Alright, I put the elbows in, both pointed straight back to go right into the engine block. Tried to be gentle because I don't know how tough they are. As you can see, the old one had a metal piece that came out. The new one is plastic. Alright, now that everything is as disassembled as it possibly will be, I should probably tell you, you might want to label your hoses so you know you remember. If you didn't, the out is on the outside, the in is on the inside. And also keep your bolts separate and labeled so that you'll remember where they go. And also the tools that I used, I just left them out there. So, good luck if you didn't label. Alright, and now let's start putting everything back together. So, just lay it in there like so. And then put your camera down so you can actually work. Alright, so I made sure both the elbows went into the engine block. That is important so that, you know, your engine doesn't overheat and blow. And also put the hoses back on, and now time to put on some bolts. Alright, so your only two 15mm bolts go in there and there, and that'll hold the bottom of your tensioner. Right. Your long 10mm bolt goes right here, and your long 15mm bolt goes down here. Alright, then you connect the negative wire to the left and the positive wire to the right, and you plug this back in. Also, I discovered that this had come out. I'm not exactly sure what that is, but this piece right here was cracked and whatnot, so I put some electrical tape over that to seal it up until I can find a permanent fix for whatever it is. So anyway, make sure that didn't fall out. And now, I believe, you are ready to connect the negative battery. Yep. Alright, negative battery is connected. Now I'm going to put on my brand new belt. Alright, easy trick to get the belt on. If you try and line everything up and put everything on and try and get your wrench in, then this belt keeps you from putting the wrench on. So you have to do it from here. Now you can try it that way, but you won't have much leverage. What I do is I put it over this and leave this one off. That way I can put the wrench on how I like, I can ratchet it down with enough leverage to get it all the way compressed, and then put the belt over on top of this. Now, all that's left is to top off the coolant. Alright, so as you can see, the belt is lined up and riding exactly where it's supposed to be, and the tensioner is not bouncing or jerking at all. So that just saved myself some money. That was about a 15-minute job, I'd say. 15 to 30 minutes, depending on how fast you work. So, have at it. So, after my job is finished, I just wanted YouTube to hear this song of how happy she is. That is what a happy bird sounds like.